under a diamond sky.
Spawn location. Hello. Just in case why you're wondering, I'm making this video. I want to make a tier list for survivors for season 16. So yeah, I kind of have to explain what every survivor does. I'll try to make this like 20 minutes long, like max, but who knows. Like there's just some problem, like, you know, with the community for now. Well, I don't even know if they're a part of the community, but I just want to say every hunter, every survivor has different perks, and there's a lot of different ways to counter them. But today we look at survivors, and I'll explain how each survivor works. I think I can explain it, which is why I'm here right now. So let's go. So explain survivors. First guy, we all know Lucky Guy. Oh wait, apparently Lucky Guy is in first. Oh, I'll do this in order. Lucky Guy. So we all know Lucky Guy is a substitute. He's good when it comes for chests and support. The only reason we'll use Lucky Guy is for, you know, for fun and for a small support. Like imagine if you're a decoder, like imagine if you're a prisoner, well no, imagine if you're kiting and then you kite it really well, you used up all your items and you're near a chest and that chest has been opened by Lucky Guy, then great, the chest might have a gun there, but Lucky Guy will probably always take the gun, but that's Lucky Guy. Lucky Guy is there used as a support, not a kiter, a support. He's a substitute as well, so yeah, not a lot of players play him, even though I main him. Next we have Doctor. Now, Doctor is a really nice character. Her syringe is great, though her fear will be reduced by 25%. And the time required for self-healing is reduced to half, which is very good, right? She have buffs and nerfs. She can increase, like she can decrease healing time, but then she has, you know, vaulting speed debuff, but then you still have Vegetarian, which is nice. Doctor would be a great B tier, but like she could be a great A tier as well, just depending on the player and depending on the hunter. Her healing speed is great. Her self heal is great. If you can manage to heal, that means you can take an extra hit. You can kite longer. That's Emily Dyer. Now let's look at Lawyer right now. As we all know, Lawyer's gonna get a buff. It's quite a nice buff for Lawyer. We all know the usage of map is like you can increase the usage of map has been increased. So that's a good thing, I think, if I do recall correctly. But the thing that I do recall is that his vaulting speed will be removed. His debuffs will be removed. So then we'll probably see more, you know, we'll probably see more Lawyer players. Now next we have Thief. Thief is just Thief, right? He's a fun character to use if you love annoying hunters and if you're a good kiter, of course. But apparently a lot of people hate Thief because he tried, you know, I don't know what he tried to do with Emma, but like yada yada yada. It's none of my problem, I'll be honest. But like if anyone says don't play Thief or else you're like toxic, don't listen to them. It's your own opinion. It's just a game. Like I heard some people say like this may be sensitive to some people, so like I'll censor it, but I'll put it in as title like Thief tried to rape Gardner. That's why you shouldn't play him. No, you shouldn't think that way, because it's just a game. It's fiction. It's all made up. I do get it's like asshole, and I don't support that, but like it's just a game. So yeah, Thief is really good when it comes to kiting, and if you love annoying hunters. Now, let's move to Coordinator. We'll do this by in order. Coordinator. So Coordinator is a great rescuer. Her Steel Will is really nice. It's 10% decreased on chair, which means she can stay on chair for longer. Army Bond is where she gets the decoding debuff when someone gets on chair. Skilled is just, you know, 10% extra vaulting speed. And Precise Aim is her gun. This is very situational, sometimes depending on like the situation. For example, if you were near a survivor that has balloon on and you can shoot the hunter, you shoot them, and that'll be a successful rescue. Sometimes when you rescue, after when Tide Turner is gone, and then like the survivor downs, you're near the hunter balloons, you shoot, that's another successful rescue. And the third situation would be, for example, you rescued once, you didn't get hit, but in the end the survivor gets hit. You want to waste the hunter's time, so what you do is you let the hunter chair again, and then before the survivor is sent back to the mainer, you shoot them. After you shoot them, you can successfully rescue unless they have excitement. That is very situational as well. So depending on if they use blink or not, you sometimes need to think. And I'm still recording. Okay. Now, next we have Perfumer. Now, I won't say like the tier list that I'll put them on. I'll put them on a video for tomorrow because I want to make this fast. I just want to get my opinions out on every character, so like you all know like, oh, why am I putting this guy or this girl on this tier. Next we have Perfumer. Perfumer could be considered as an A tier, right? Maybe an S tier or even an A+ tier after her buff. But if we read Perfumer's description, it says, when someone sprays euphoria and enters an immersed state, she's able to remember her condition and position, which means if she gets hit, after she uses her perfume, she can perfume back, which means, oh, I can kite for longer, I'm at full health again, I'm not at half health. The only debuff is blackout, which means you're not allowed to fail calibration, and special physique, which is the healing. Healing time will be increased by 30%. She's an A character because she has 3 perfumes, and if you use her correctly, then you can kite for quite a long time against single hit hunters. She's only bad against she's only bad against double hits like Bonbon, Galatea, or sometimes, you know, even Dream Witch if she's really good at ambushing, of course. Now, next we have Female Dancer. Now, Female Dancer is a very fun character to play. She does not have any debuffs, of course. She has a buff, actually, Acrobatics. When they fall from a height, she gains a 20% increase for 3 seconds and has a 40-second cooldown, which means you don't really need this. You don't really need broken windows, and you can just go Tide Turner. And then her duet, she has 2 music boxes, a slow one and a fast one. The slow one will increase the interaction speed, like for decoding cipher. It will also increase the speed of chairs. Rocket chairs, as it says, rocket chair countdown. So it will increase the rocket chair countdown of survivors. Now, slow setting can reduce the movement speed significantly for hunters, but it will not reduce the cooldown speed at all. For chair, you need to remember that. I do not think it removes, but like I'll make another video on every character and like their theories. But yeah, Female Dancer is a great character to use for fun. Maybe for like competitive as well, but not a lot of people use them. Next we have Prisoner. Prisoner is considered as A tier. His only debuff is actually that his fear has been reduced. Can I find it here? I probably can't find it here, but his fear has been reduced by 25% because because he's a decoder and he likes to decode a lot. But he doesn't have any vaulting debuffs or any like palette debuffs, which is great. His main skill usage is circuit control, which means you can link 2 ciphers together. And as we can see here, the further away the cipher machine are, the bigger the loss will be, ranging from 10 to 20%. Okay, I don't know what she was thinking. Prisoner also has a deep decoding buff as well, so then like we don't really have to worry about it. Like decoding speed is increased by 10% as said here. And yeah, detection of the hunter, his fear will be decreased by 20% as said here. So this will be really good if you want to double decode a cipher, and if the cipher that's linked to prisoner cipher is is a rescuer, great. He's really good, honestly. A tier for me. Well, yeah, A tier for me. Really fun to play. Now we've Painter. Painter will be getting a buff soon. A real good buff soon. Which is why, like, his art, like his paintings, will last for 0.5 seconds long and will reduce his placement time by 0.4 seconds. Every second counts, even if it's a millisecond. Aesthetics resonances is buff. His movement speed will be increased by 2%, and this can be stacked up twice. Intuition, which means he will not be affected by rocket check countdown, which is great. Self-fulfillment will be his only debuff. His location will be exposed to the hunter for 5 seconds after placing a painting. Now, next we will go on to...
Oh, that's prisoner.
Thief. No, magician. Magician is actually quite a nice character to use. I understand some people say he's really underrated, and like he's like no, not underrated, but like he's really hard to use, especially the fact that the rescue time is increased by 40%. But like I feel like this is honestly fair, because if you go to the persona web and if you check sneak, when a survivor is placed on a rocket chair running within 80 meters of the rocket chair leaves no trails, I think this actually works on magician. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but like if your rescue character is running around and is messing up the trails, I think that really helps magician get away. Which is why I feel like it's really fair, honestly, on like, you know, the 40% extra increase on rescuing. I've actually been bullied by an S tier magician before. He was really good. Now, Explorer. I understand how everyone is like, oh, Explorer is so annoying. He can go small. Sculptors, statue of nobility cannot detect him, etc. But like, I think that's the good thing about Explorer, right? And then like his buffs as well. After plenty of rest, Explorer is ready to dash. Stops movement for 10 seconds and increased movement by 10% for 5 seconds. I think that's really good for him. This is another buff as well, hiding trails. It's really good. If you have like this on max, it'll be really good for Explorer. And then Curiosity is just, you know, I think calibration is great for Explorer mains. And then like, you know, honestly, Scope of Success doesn't really do anything for us. His main His main usage will be like how do I say this? His main usage will be the pages, where he could only find 3 pages and decode 3 ciphers fast. They do take time to dig though. And like sometimes you can counter Explorer by using Quenching Fist as hunters, but sometimes you cannot, because if he's in a small stage, it's hard for us to locate. But like he's still considered as an A tier. People still do use him in competitive. Next we have Merc. I don't really have to explain Merc too much. Having elbow pads is really good. Being able to get out of a situation like fast or transition fast. That's really good. Though he will be getting a nerf with the rocket chair. His rocket chair nerf will be from 30% to 10% steel wheel, as we see here. He's fastened to and is reduced by 30% on chair. Skill being skill, we know all rescuer has 10% increase in vaulting. If he gets terror shocked,
here we go.
He has an extra 30 seconds, you know, to live, or even to take an extra hit. So like he's the ideal S tier, you know, rescuer.
Everything seems to be going my way right now.
Next one we have Priestess. I understand, like we have a lot of thoughts about Priestess. Just my own opinion, I don't think she needs a nerf. Maybe it's because I play Galatea a lot, but I don't think she needs a nerf. She has Fragile, decreases vaulting speed by 10%. Spiritualist, decoding cipher machines are increased. Chance of calibration. The chances of true calibration and the difficulty of calibration will decode increased by 20%. That's a nerf. But the decoding speed reduced by 10% is also a nerf. But she has a buff for healing time. It's decreased by 10%, and the time needed for Priestess to heal a teammate is decreased by 30%. That's really nice. That is why people are annoyed at her, because like when Priestess rescues, Tide Turners goes through portal, and if you don't have teleport as a hunter, or if you can't teleport to the location, then like it's just really annoying. Priestess is considered S tier of course, but I still don't think she needs a nerf. I think she's gotten enough. And Holy Key, as we all know, basically makes portals and then dashes through like, you know, one obstacle to the other end of the obstacle. I don't need to explain much. Now Mechanic. some people may wonder, like I was just reading comments, I was talking to people on comments. Some people wonder why Mechanic is OP. Now, as understandable as it is, she has Cowardly, which means she decreases. Decoding speed is decreased by 45% when someone is wounded or on rocket chair, and her gate's opening speed is decreased by 15%, stacked up to 2 times. Understandable, right? Mechanic herself is weak, but it's because of her robot, her doll, which makes her really strong. The love for the doll reduces its depletion time by 33%. So, take an example. If you downed a Mechanic in 10 seconds and the hunter didn't hit the doll, well, first of all, the hunter will not teleport to the doll because they don't know where it is. Second of all, maybe you can do it with Bloody Queen or Galatea, but it will be very hard, in my opinion, to locate it. And then third, even if you destroy it once, she can deploy another one. So I think she can deploy it twice. Like after the second destruction of the doll, that's where Mechanic is really vulnerable. But being able to decode 4 ciphers while still on chair, and if your rescuer doesn't rescue, maintains the cipher rush, that's really annoying for us hunter mains if we don't have detention, of course. Now, moving on to Forward. Forward is actually one of the most hardest rescuers, but one of the most rewarding rescuers as well. If we all know his ball is actually used to stun hunters depending on how much you used it. The more you use, the longer it stuns the hunter, but you have to hit the hunter. Athletic being athletic, we all know all comes means that it's basically just decoding debuff, and then struggle is increased by 10%. Moving on, we will have Mind's Eye. Now, Mind's Eye is a B tier simply because Quenching Fist and Teleport, counters her a lot if you don't find her first and if you don't hit someone in the first 50 seconds. Echo is nice, you can see there's a hunter location to run away from them. The Mind's Eye, Blindness has sharpened other senses of the Mind's Eye, her decoding speed is increased by 30%, and then Fragile is just vaulting speed decreased by 30%, which is really bad for Mechanic mains. Next, we have, I know I'm going through this very fast, but yeah. Next we have Cowboy. Now, Cowboy's lasso is really annoying, but it's being adjusted. You need to have the skill pre-used, ready to use 2 seconds before you lasso. I think that's fair. In exchange for that, he can now lasso pallets and gain a 2-second increase in movement, or even, hunters, or even cipher machines. So he will receive an acceleration boost for at least 2 seconds. Hero being Hero, when he hits a hunter with a pallet, it is stunned for 20 seconds longer than normal, which means you don't want to get stunned because they will have this as well, and it will become a 40% increase. Wild being Wild, he decodes 10% slower than other survivors. However, when he's decoding with a female character, his decoding speed is increased by 10%. He feels exceptionally exhausted while decoding with male or Mechanic dolls. Decodes 30% slower. You probably really shouldn't be decoding with a female anyways, because it's just a waste of time, to be honest. And Protective being Protective, Cowboy takes full damage if he's being hit with a female character on his back, but if carried by male or the Mechanic doll, both will take damage once. So Cowboy is really good when you have a full female team. Really good rescuer as well. Continuing on, we will have Seer. Seer is actually considered as an S tier character, having able to charge outwards for, you have to be near Hunter though, but having able to charge outwards near Hunter if you kite it for 30 seconds, I think. Or is it I think it's 30 seconds, but you have to be close, so that is really risky. But he still is an S tier because his outs really help lives, help survivors a lot. Prophecy being able to see Hunter's position for 5 seconds after spawning them. Great Eye is that Seer can see the Hunter's position for 5 seconds when the match begins. So Great Eyes is at the start of the match, and then Prophecy is when the Hunter's really far away from you, and then there will be a red a red light showing where the Hunter is because he's seeing you. This is really good when it comes to kiting, it'll alert you beforehand, and then taxing is whenever Seer's owl block damage for himself or teammate. The speed which he falls is decreased by 10%, of course. Fair is fair. Next we have Embalmer. Embalmer received quite a nice buff. He has the rebirth ability, which TLDR means that he can revive himself or survivors if he's seen their faces when they're on the chair. Now Artist is basically what I just said. Unconcerned is the time that Embalmer, Embalmer's time on chair is increased by 10%. But then yeah, that's probably it, to be honest. You don't need to know about the blue part. And then Anxious, not being able to he's able to see all survivors' location for 15 seconds, but deciphering with other survivors will decrease his own deciphering speed by 15%. So like no two survivors on one cipher. I think that's that. Next we have Prospector. Prospector is a great kiter, but I see him more as a support. He's really hard to use. His mechanics are really situational, whether you use N or S to pull in the hunter or N and S to, push away the hunter. It really depends. Outdoor skill is just basically healing speed increase. Disruption is just basically triggering calibration increase by 50%. And calibration difficulty increased by 30%. It's not too much, to be honest, for high tier. And attraction is kind of it's really, attraction is basically when Prospector is near a cipher machine or locker, his movement speed will be increased by 50% for 2 seconds and will only increase every 80 seconds. So you can use this as an advantage when you kite. Still, I'd say he's a B tier because it's very situational and really depends on the map. Next we have Enchantress. Enchantress could be considered as a high B tier or an A- tier because she doesn't have anything to use early game, so it's basically a free hit if you can't kite. Ape Curse is basically when you get hit by the hunter, you carry one stun, one stack. Having one stun can paralyze the nearest hunter within a certain range for 1 second, I think. Having 3 stacks, I think, will paralyze the having 3 stacks will paralyze the hunter for 3 seconds. That's my guess. Well, you can only use 1 or 3. You cannot use 5. 5 is the max. So yeah. Now, guard being guard. When the hunter is near Enchantress, the guard is triggered and affects. Yeah, this basically means it stacks the stuns. But whenever she uses it, it reduces the rage by 7%, and the maximum reduction is 70%, the stun duration. Now, Enchantress will immediately gain 1 stack if the hunter inflicts damage to the Enchantress. Guard effect on the hunter has a maximum of 5 only. Blessing is when you heal Enchantress. And then after heal you get chased, you get hit. Enchantress will get a stack of stun. That's basically Blessing. And Karma is just healing time is increased by 20%. That's literally it. Next we will have Wildling. Wildling has been used a lot, in tiers, in competitive mode, as we've seen in Koa 4. He will receive a nerf though, sadly. So yeah, as we can see, Wildling's partner is his Moodle. I'm quite sure his name is not Moodle, right? I don't know. Wildling's Boar basically increases his movement speed by 10% and will cause tinnitus and listen to lose effect temporarily for 10 seconds, which is really good early game. Now, nature, in a nutshell, he has decreasing debuff, and if hunters hit him if hunters hit Wildling while he's on his boar, it instantly resets their attack. But it's really hard to hit Wildling when he's on boar because he gains I think he moves faster. He actually moves faster than hunters. And the fact that he can dash, yeah, it's just oof moments. Oops. And now next we have Acrobat. Acrobat is very situational. I would put him as a B tier fun survivor to use. We all know Sticky Bomb is basically reduced speed, Nitro Bomb is basically reduced interaction speed, basically vaulting windows, breaking pallets, and Fire Bomb is basically disabling their skills, for example Sculptor's statues. Acrobat's behavior inspires him to create different types. So friendliness, rescue one teammate allows Acrobat to create extra sticky bombs. Decoding a cipher machine to 100% allows the Acrobat to create an additional nitro bomb. And being pursued for 60 seconds will allow Acrobat to have a fire bomb. Now Acrobat is half-hearted, which means that door opening speed will be decreased by 30%. That's basically it. Don't let Acrobat open a door. Okay, next we have First Officer. First Officer will receive a really good buff. Now, Vanish. When the First Officer rescues a teammate, he can cast Hypnotize on his surroundings, and he can disguise. Basically, disguise for 5 seconds when rescued. That's really good. Self-hints being self-hint, confused deception. His flight speed, rocket chair flight speed is decreased by 20%, and decoding speed is decreased by 20%. So like just rocket chair buff and then like decoding debuff. Hypnotize, Dispel Pain must be the only cure. First Officer will be immediately removed when he receives damage, which is fair, but it also is very hard to hit him. Poseidon Watch is basically leaving the image of First Officer for a delayed second for 20 seconds and gains movement speed when hypnotized, which means when he uses his watch, he will increase a small movement speed. So yeah, he will increase a small movement speed, which means he can move faster for like 1 second, but that's fine. You will receive a great buff though. Next we have Barmaid. Barmaid is actually very situational as well, but like she's able to heal up survivors while on the chase. If they haven't been hit while they're drinking the dope, then great, but she's not allowed to give it to coordinator or minds because they're underage. Mixing being mixing, just different different beverages. Tipsy is actually reducing her decoding speed, and Hanover is actually reducing her decoding speed. And Tipsy is reducing her fear radius, which means she cannot detect hunters. Like her radius, she cannot detect hunters. The max at her max range, it'll be decreased every time you mix. So Demi will be considered as a great fun character to use. Next we have Postman. Postman will be getting a great buff. He can he has so many different letters, like increasing vaulting speed, decreasing chair countdown, increasing movement speed, showing dungeon, and then his post dog actually reduces the movement speed of hunters, which is really nice as well. His debuff empathy, empathy is just when they receive the same letter, he will get the same buff. And expectations, Postman always hopes for something. His only debuff is reduced decoding speed. And opening the others' letters. Well, I don't know what that means, to be honest. Anyways, continue. He's a great character to use, B tier, in my opinion. Next we have Gravekeeper. Gravekeeper could be considered as a A- tier, or even like a good enough rescuer, because like he's able to go down and take a hit. Having claustrophobia though increases his movement speed when in underground sneak mode. At ease is when he's out of claustrophobia. His rescuing speed is increased by 50% for 5 seconds. That's really good. All terms is basically just decrease decoding speed by 15%. Now we have Melly, entomologist. Her buff is basically after vaulting once increases survivor vaulting speed by 10%. Fragrance means her location will be shown for 2 seconds upon leaving a hunter's line of sight as their body's fragrance lingers, basically what it means. And entomology is basically the swarm will it basically creates a swarm and is able to push survivors and able to push hunters. But this will be mainly used for hunters, honestly. Mainly used against hunters when you're trying to support a rescue. Melly will be considered as a B tier. Okay, continuing on, we have Batter. Batter will become an S tier in my opinion, or a high A tier. His cricket bat allows, his cricket bat is basically if you hit the hunter with his cricket, you have to manually do it, not like coordinator, right? But you're able to push hunters back. Altruism is basically reduces the span down when survivors attack within 80 meters of him. As long as batter is not being pursued, movement speed will be increased by 50% for 10 seconds. So basically, he could help survivors by using his bash and then hit hunters and then make a distance between the one being chased and the hunter himself. Athletic being athletic, like vaulting speed is increased by 20, pallet pulling speed is increased by 20. And then Crooked Bat, he has Quick Hit and Rampage. Rampage is on each for 20 seconds, he may sway, like cooldown is 40 seconds. And if a Crooked Ball hits Hunter with Batter, when they're on a Rampage, the Hunter gets stunned. So like that is really good, that was really good for rescues as well. Depending on how you play Batter, Batter will be considered a B tier still though. Fun to play, but not really used in competitive. Maybe more in competitive when he's released in when his buff comes out. But yeah, that's every character in a nutshell. So that's me explaining survivors. I'll be making tier list tomorrow that will only last 10 minutes. Because I don't need to explain the full thing in 10 minutes long. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all for coming today. Bye bye.